Alex Mercer stepped off the small shuttle onto the surface of the alien planet, feeling the subtle hum of energy beneath his boots. The air was thick and warm, scented with a mix of metallic ozone and something floral like a faint hint of jasmine. This planet, labeled Zythera by the Interstellar Mapping Team, was one of the last uncharted worlds in this region of the galaxy. Rumors had spread through the space exploration community about strange energy fields and unusual life forms. But Alex, a veteran explorer, was not easily frightened. He had seen things that would make most people run, but Zythera felt different. There was a vivid stillness in the air, as if the planet itself was alive and watching. He moved carefully, scanning the dense forest that stretched endlessly in all directions. Trees with translucent leaves shimmered under the dim light of the planet's twin suns, casting long, wavering shadows that seemed to move on their own. Every step he took caused a faint ripple through the ground, almost like walking on water. His sensors beeped softly, detecting traces of movement, but nothing appeared on the scanners. The readings were irregular, like life forms here existed in layers invisible to normal technology. Alex's mind wandered briefly to the reports he had read before landing. Explorers who had entered this forest described feeling watched, hearing whispers in the wind, and seeing shapes that vanished the moment they were looked at directly. He shivered slightly but pushed the thoughts aside. He was here to explore, to map the unknown, and most importantly, to survive. Survival had always been his strength, and he trusted his instincts more than any scanner or computer. As he ventured deeper, the forest seemed to grow quieter, almost oppressively so. The usual sounds of wildlife, chirps, rustling, and distant roars had vanished. The air felt heavier, thicker, almost as if it was warning him. Then out of nowhere, the forest opened into a small clearing, glowing faintly with an unearthly light. At the center, a shimmering portal-like structure pulsed gently, surrounded by vines that seemed to move on their own. It wasn't a natural formation. It had an energy signature unlike anything Alex had ever encountered. Curiosity overcame caution, and he stepped closer. He felt a faint vibration in his chest as he approached, like the planet itself was resonating with the portal. His hand hovered over his sidearm instinctively, though he felt no immediate threat. That's when he saw her. She emerged from the shadows at the edge of the clearing. At first he thought she was a hologram, a trick of the light because she was unlike any being he had ever seen. Her skin was pale but luminous, almost translucent, revealing a faint network of glowing veins beneath. Her eyes were large, reflective, and golden, with a depth that seemed to look through him rather than at him. She walked toward him without hesitation, her movements graceful, deliberate, and unnervingly silent. Alex froze. There was something commanding about her presence, something that made his usual confidence waver. As she closed the distance, he realized she was not wearing any clothing. He blinked, trying not to react, remembering that her species might not require it. The warmth of the forest and the glow from the portal made her figure appear almost ethereal, like a creature of light. Then she lifted her hand, placing it gently on his face. The touch was soft, yet it carried an intensity that made Alex's heart race. He felt an electric shock of connection, not painful, but startling, as if she could sense everything about him in an instant. She leaned closer, her golden eyes locking with his, and whispered, "Don't even breathe." The words froze him. His lungs seemed to tighten involuntarily, though he was unsure why. The command was not just a warning, it was a signal of danger, immediate and precise. Alex's instincts kicked in. He scanned the area but saw nothing. The portal continued to pulse quietly and the forest remained still. "What? What do you mean?" he asked quietly, though his voice felt loud in the oppressive silence. She didn't answer with words. Instead, her gaze shifted slightly to his left and Alex instinctively followed. A shadow moved along the edge of the clearing, fast and smooth, almost blending with the forest itself. The air around it shimmered faintly, distorting like heat waves. It was a predator, he realized, one that didn't reveal itself easily and could strike before he even saw it clearly. He stayed perfectly still, remembering her warning. Even the slightest movement could trigger the creature. The alien's hand remained on his face, steadying him. She radiated calm control, and Alex realized he had no choice but to trust her. Time seemed to stretch as the predator circled, testing, waiting. Alex could feel the tension in the air, the subtle shifts in energy as the alien remained alert. She finally whispered, "Move with me." He nodded silently, allowing her to guide him. They stepped slowly, each movement deliberate, following a path that seemed impossible to see without her guidance. The forest seemed to bend around them, shadows stretching unnaturally, hiding both danger and the path forward. After what felt like hours, though it was likely only minutes, they reached a small alcove hidden by thick foliage. The predator passed by the clearing without noticing them. Alex exhaled silently, feeling the tension in his body ease slightly. The alien withdrew her hand from his face, and for the first time, he noticed the intensity of her eyes. They were studying him not with curiosity but with assessment. "You survived," she said finally, her voice soft but firm. Most humans would have triggered it. Most would not have listened. Alex swallowed, still trying to process everything. "Why are you helping me?" he asked, her gaze softened slightly. "You have potential," she replied. "Potential humans rarely show. That is why I am here," he frowned. "Potential for what?" She did not answer directly. Instead, she gestured toward the glowing portal. "What lies ahead is not for all. Only those who can see, feel, and act with clarity survive." Alex followed her gaze, realizing that the portal was more than a mere gateway. It was a test, a challenge that could define whether humans were truly capable of matching the universe in intelligence and courage. He had faced countless dangers in his life, but this was unlike anything he had encountered. She led him deeper into the forest, moving with a speed and precision that made him struggle to keep up. Yet despite the urgency, he felt strangely safe with her presence. The way she navigated the obstacles, the subtle signals she gave, and the calm control she maintained were unlike anything he had ever experienced with another living being. As they moved, Alex noticed faint symbols carved into trees, glowing softly. She noticed him noticing and paused briefly. "These marks," she explained telepathically, "are warnings. They tell the story of what has passed here before you. Many have failed." He glanced around, suddenly understanding that the forest itself was alive in ways he couldn't fully comprehend. Every rustle, every shimmer, and every pulse of light was a message, a signal that could mean life or death. The alien turned to him once more, her hand resting lightly on his shoulder now. "Do not fear," she said. "Fear clouds judgment. You must see clearly, feel clearly, and act clearly. Only then can you survive what comes next." Alex nodded, realizing that trust was his only option. Fear had no place here. Survival depended not just on his skills, but on his ability to understand and work with the unknown. The forest continued to stretch endlessly, the portal behind them pulsing faintly as if reminding them that there was no turning back. Alex's heart pounded not with fear but with anticipation. He was about to step into something that would challenge everything he knew about himself, about humans and about the universe. And for the first time in a long while, he felt alive in a way that only true discovery could bring. The alien's gaze met his again, steady and unwavering. She took a step closer, her presence reassuring yet commanding. "Follow me," she said simply. "Everything depends on your next move." Alex inhaled carefully, not too fast, not too slow. He mirrored her movements, sensing the subtle shifts in the energy around them. Every step was a decision, every breath a challenge. And as they disappeared deeper into the alien forest, the first part of their journey had begun, a journey that would test his courage, his intelligence, and the very limits of what it meant to be human in a universe far stranger and more dangerous than he could ever have imagined. Alex followed the alien through the dense forest, moving carefully over roots that seemed to writhe like snakes beneath the soft ground. Every step required attention, as the forest itself seemed alive, reacting to their presence. The alien moved with perfect balance, her feet barely touching the ground, leaving no trace of movement. Alex had to slow down, matching her rhythm, and he felt a strange mix of awe and frustration at his own slower pace. The alien finally stopped at a small clearing surrounded by towering crystal-like trees. The light from the portal behind them barely reached this area, but the crystals reflected a pale, shimmering glow, giving the place an almost dreamlike quality. She looked at Alex, her golden eyes calm yet piercing, and gestured for him to kneel beside one of the crystals. He obeyed instinctively. As he lowered himself, he noticed subtle vibrations coming from the crystal. It resonated with energy, faint but constant like a heartbeat. The alien raised her hand and a thin ribbon of light extended from her palm, wrapping around the crystal. The ribbon seemed to pull energy from the crystal and merge with her, her body glowing softly in response. Alex watched in fascination. He had studied alien life forms for years, but nothing like this had ever been recorded. The alien turned toward him, her gaze intense. She placed her hand lightly on his shoulder. "You must learn to sense it," she said softly. "The forest, the energy, the creatures, they are all connected. Humans rarely feel it, but you can." He frowned, uncertain how he could feel something invisible. She tilted her head, and suddenly he felt a pulse through the ground, a subtle vibration that traveled up through his legs and into his chest. His heartbeat synced with it, and for a brief moment, he understood, just a little, the rhythm of the planet, the energy flowing beneath them, the life that moved silently around them. "Do not move too fast," she whispered. "Do not act without thought. You must learn patience. Only then will you survive." Alex nodded, swallowing hard. This was more than a test of physical skill. It was a test of his mind, his senses, and his ability to trust something beyond what he could see or hear. As they stayed in the clearing, a soft rustle came from the trees. Alex tensed immediately, sensing danger. The alien raised a hand, signaling him to stay calm. The rustle grew louder, and then a creature appeared, stepping into the glow of the crystals. It was unlike anything Alex had seen, sleek and dark, with semi-transparent skin that revealed glowing internal structures. Its eyes were large and reflective, tracking them both. The alien moved in front of Alex, standing tall and confident. She extended her hand slightly, and the creature froze, tilting its head as if confused. Alex realized that the alien was communicating with it, not with words, but with energy pulses he could barely perceive. The creature tested her, its movements slow and deliberate. She remained still, unwavering. Then, without warning, it lunged. Alex instinctively reacted, raising his hands, but she moved faster than he could follow. She caught the creature mid-leap with a precise grab, holding it in place with a strength and control that left him astonished. The creature hissed, struggling, but she did not release it until it calmed and slunk back into the shadows. Alex exhaled, his body still trembling from the sudden encounter. How did you do that?" he asked. "It is not strength," she said calmly. "It is awareness, understanding. Humans can learn it too, but few succeed." He nodded slowly, trying to absorb her words. He realized that his previous experiences with danger, his training, his instincts, they were all just the beginning. Survival here required more than reflexes. It required connection, perception, and patience. They moved deeper into the forest. The air grew cooler and the shadows longer. Strange plants reached toward them, some emitting soft glows, others pulsing as if breathing. Alex felt a strange thrill, a mixture of fear and excitement. Each step seemed to reveal a new wonder, a new mystery. After a while, they reached a narrow ravine, the walls covered with vines that glowed faintly. The alien paused at the edge, looking down. Alex peered over and saw the ravine stretched far below, the bottom obscured by mist. A series of jagged rocks jutted out from the sides, forming a precarious path across. She looked at him, her expression serious. "You must cross carefully. One misstep could be fatal." Alex swallowed hard. He was not afraid of heights, but this was different. The rocks were slick, uneven, and the mist below seemed to distort perception. He felt the planet's energy pulsing beneath him, urging caution. He followed her lead, stepping onto the first rock. It felt stable, almost solid beneath his feet. Step by step he moved forward, his focus absolute. The alien moved with him, guiding silently, sometimes extending a hand for subtle support. Every movement required concentration, patience, and a calm mind. Halfway across, a vibration ran through the rocks. Alex froze. The mist below shifted, and he realized that the ravine was alive in some way, responding to movement above it. The alien sensed it immediately and extended her hand. A soft light enveloped the rocks, stabilizing them, giving Alex confidence to continue. They reached the other side safely. Alex exhaled, feeling the tension leave his body. The alien looked at him, her golden eyes almost smiling. "Good," she said simply. "You are learning." He followed her further into the forest. The terrain grew stranger. Plants that seemed to move toward them, glowing insects that formed patterns in the air, and faint whispers that seemed to come from nowhere. Alex realized the forest was testing him, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Every sound, every movement, every pulse of energy could either help or harm. As night fell, the forest glowed with soft luminescence. The alien led him to a small clearing where the ground was flat and safe. She gestured for him to rest while she scanned the surroundings. Alex watched her, fascinated by her grace and intelligence. She moved like she was part of the forest itself, reading its signals, sensing its energy, and reacting instantly to any threat. Finally, she returned to him and sat beside him. "You have potential," she said softly. "Humans are rare. You can survive here because you have the courage to face the unknown, the patience to observe, and the intelligence to adapt. Most humans would have failed long ago." Alex nodded, humbled by her words. He had always prided himself on his skills, but he realized that this was different. This planet, this forest, and this alien were unlike anything he had faced before. Survival required more than training or instinct. It required trust, connection, and understanding. They sat in silence for a while, the forest alive around them. Alex felt a strange bond forming between them. She was not just a guide. She was a teacher, a protector, and in some ways a mirror reflecting his own potential. He realized that his journey was only beginning, and that the challenges ahead would test every part of him, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Suddenly, a faint shimmer appeared at the edge of the clearing. Alex stiffened, sensing danger. The alien rose, her body glowing softly, ready for anything. The shimmer grew stronger, forming into a figure, another alien, but unlike her. This one was taller, with sharp features and glowing eyes, emanating power and authority. The new alien spoke telepathically, and Alex could hear the voice in his mind. "You are not welcome here. Leave now or face the consequences." The alien beside Alex stepped forward, placing herself between him and the intruder. Her hands glowed faintly with energy, and her stance was confident, protective. "He is not yours to judge," she replied firmly. "He is learning, and he will survive." Alex felt a surge of gratitude and respect. He realized that he was not just a visitor here. He was part of something bigger, something that tested humans in ways no one else could. The alien beside him had taken him under her protection, and he understood that his survival depended not only on his skills but on their bond and mutual trust. The intruder hesitated, sensing her power, and then slowly retreated into the shadows. Alex exhaled, feeling the tension ease slightly. The alien turned to him, her golden eyes calm. "You see," she said softly, "the universe is full of dangers but also opportunities. Trust your instincts, trust your mind, and trust those who guide you. Only then will you survive." Alex nodded, realizing that the forest, the aliens, and the portal behind them were all part of a test, a preparation for something greater. He had survived the first challenge, learned to trust the alien, and begun to understand the subtle energy of the planet. But he knew this was only the beginning. The real test, whatever lay ahead, would be far more difficult, and it would require everything he had and more. As the night deepened and the glowing forest shimmered around them, Alex felt a strange mix of fear, excitement, and determination. He was not just an explorer anymore. He was a student of the unknown, a participant in a challenge that could define humanity's place in the universe. The alien beside him placed a hand on his shoulder again, her touch calm and reassuring. "Rest now," she said softly. "Tomorrow you will face more, but you are ready, more ready than you know." Alex lay down, staring at the glowing canopy above, and for the first time in his life, he felt a profound sense of purpose. He was on a planet that tested humans in ways no other world could, guided by a being far beyond human understanding. And he knew deep in his heart that he had survived not just by skill, but by trusting himself and the morning light filtered softly through the shimmering canopy of Zathira's forest, painting the leaves in delicate shades of gold and green. Alex Mercer stirred, his muscles aching from the long night of tension and learning. The alien beside him, still glowing faintly from the night's energy, was already moving with quiet purpose. She gestured for him to rise, and Alex felt a strange mixture of anticipation and nervousness. Today he would face more than shadows and whispers. Today, the forest itself would challenge him in ways he had never imagined. He followed her as they moved through the dense undergrowth. The air was cooler now, carrying the scent of the crystalline flowers that had begun to bloom at dawn. Alex noticed how the alien seemed to glide effortlessly over the uneven terrain, her movements fluid and precise. Every step she took seemed to send subtle vibrations through the ground, almost like a silent conversation with the planet. Alex tried to mimic her movements, focusing on sensing the energy beneath his feet. He stumbled slightly at first, but with her guiding presence he began to find a rhythm. After some distance, they reached a vast open plain. The grass here was tall and translucent, shimmering in the morning light like strands of glass. In the distance, Alex could see strange formations rising from the ground, towering monoliths of crystalline material, pulsating faintly with energy. Between them, shadows flickered, moving in ways that seemed unnatural. The alien stopped and turned to him. Her golden eyes were calm but sharp. "You must observe," she said softly, her voice carrying without words as if she were embedding thought directly into his mind. "Do not act immediately. The forest will reveal the challenge in its own time." Alex nodded, swallowing hard. He felt the weight of the lesson. Patience was not a human weakness here, it was a strength. He crouched low, scanning the plain and the monoliths, noticing subtle movements in the grass. Faint glimmers of light shifted as if invisible beings were moving between the crystalline towers. He realized that he had become acutely aware of the slightest disturbances, the subtle changes in energy, and the gentle swaying of the grass, all signaling that he was being watched. Then it happened. A ripple of energy surged across the plain, and several creatures emerged from the grass. They were larger than the predator from the forest, with elongated limbs and reflective bodies that shimmered in the sunlight. Their movements were coordinated, almost intelligent, as if they were aware of each other and their surroundings. Alex's heart raced. These were not simple predators. They were hunters designed to test intruders. The alien stepped in front of him immediately, her body glowing brighter as she extended her hands. Light flowed from her, creating a protective field that seemed to distort the energy around them. The creatures hesitated, tilting their heads as they sensed the alien's power. Alex realized that she was not just defending him. She was communicating with them, establishing boundaries and asserting control. The creatures tested her resolve, advancing slowly. Alex instinctively reached for his sidearm, but she shook her head subtly. "Observe first," she thought into his mind. "Only act when necessary." He watched as she moved gracefully, sending pulses of energy through the ground. The creatures responded, some retreating, others circling warily. Alex began to notice patterns, the way they reacted to energy, the slight pauses before moving, the subtle changes in their glow. He realized that the creatures were not mindless. They were part of the forest's testing system, responding to awareness, patience, and calmness. A sudden surge of energy from the alien startled him. The creatures lunged faster than he expected. Without thinking, he leaped to the side, barely avoiding a strike. The alien reacted instantly, redirecting the creatures with a sweep of her hand. Alex felt a thrill of adrenaline. This was no longer observation. This was survival, testing his reflexes, judgment, and courage. He noticed one of the creatures isolating him, moving silently and deliberately. Alex's mind raced. He remembered her words, patience and observation were key. He held his ground, focusing on the creature's energy patterns rather than its physical movements. Slowly, he began to predict its approach, sidestepping with precision and using the terrain to his advantage. Each successful movement gave him confidence, and he felt a growing connection with the alien guiding him. After what felt like hours but was only minutes, the creatures retreated, leaving him and the alien alone. He exhaled, his chest heaving, but he felt exhilarated rather than exhausted. He had survived, not by brute force but by trusting his senses, his mind, and the guidance of his alien companion. She smiled faintly, a rare expression for her species. "You are learning faster than I expected," she said softly. "Humans can adapt, but few can do so with clarity and calm. You are different." Alex felt a surge of pride, but he remained humble. He had learned that arrogance could be fatal here. Every step, every breath, every movement mattered. He had to remain vigilant, aware, and respectful of the forest's rules. They continued across the plain, moving toward the crystalline towers. As they approached, Alex noticed strange symbols etched into the surfaces of the monoliths. They glowed faintly, pulsing with energy. The alien touched one lightly, and a ribbon of light extended, flowing into the surrounding area. Alex felt a subtle shift in the air, a sensation of balance and harmony. "This is part of the test," she explained. "The monoliths communicate with those who understand energy. They sense awareness, patience, and courage. Only those who respect the balance may pass." Alex nodded, trying to absorb every detail. He placed his hand on one of the monoliths, feeling the pulse of energy travel through his body. It was not overwhelming, but it demanded focus, mental clarity, and calm. He realized that the forest, the creatures, and the alien were all part of a complex system, designed to teach and challenge. Suddenly, a low hum resonated from the largest tower. The energy in the air shifted and a bright light shot upward, illuminating the entire plane. The creatures from earlier reappeared, more aggressive and coordinated. The alien raised her hands, sending waves of energy to create barriers and redirect their attacks. Alex could feel the urgency, the heightened stakes. This was no longer practice, it was a true challenge, testing his ability to think and act under pressure. He focused on the patterns of the creatures, predicting their movements based on energy ripples and subtle cues. He leaped, dodged, and even used a fallen crystal as a shield. Each action required quick thinking, precise timing, and trust in the alien's guidance. The creatures lunged repeatedly, but Alex managed to avoid harm, gradually gaining confidence. After several intense minutes, the creatures finally retreated, disappearing into the glowing grass. Alex fell to his knees, exhausted but alive. The alien approached him, her expression calm yet approving. "You have passed this stage," she said. "You see clearly, act wisely, and trust your instincts. This is what humans must do to survive beyond their worlds." Alex looked around, the plane now quiet, bathed in the gentle glow of the morning sun. He felt a profound respect for the alien beside him and for the forest itself. This planet, with its creatures, energy, and monoliths, was more than a place. It was a teacher, a challenge, and a mirror reflecting human potential. The alien led him toward the largest crystalline tower. Its surface shimmered, and Alex felt an invitation, a test that would require more than skill, it would demand understanding. He followed her, feeling both nervous and excited. He realized that the challenges ahead would test not just his body, but his mind, his perception, and his ability to connect with forces far beyond human comprehension. As they entered the tower, the energy inside was almost overwhelming. Light pulsed along the walls and symbols shifted as if alive. The alien moved with ease, guiding him through the passages and teaching him how to sense the energy flow. Alex felt a growing confidence, a growing connection to the planet, and a growing trust in his companion. Then they reached a chamber filled with a soft, radiant light. At the center was a floating orb of pure energy spinning slowly. Alex approached cautiously. The alien placed her hand on the orb, and he felt a wave of warmth and understanding. "This is the core," she said. "It is the heart of the forest and the test of every traveler. Only those who understand balance and respect may touch it." Alex hesitated. The orb radiated power, but it also seemed to call to him, testing his courage and clarity. He extended his hand slowly, feeling the energy pulse through his body. It was not frightening, it was empowering, showing him visions of the planet, the creatures, and the alien guiding him. He realized that he was part of something greater, something that tested humanity's courage, intelligence, and adaptability. The alien smiled faintly. "You are ready for the next stage," she said. "But remember, every step from here will be more difficult. Trust yourself, trust the forest, and trust those who guide you. Only then will you survive." Alex nodded, feeling a sense of purpose and determination. He had learned patience, observation, and trust. He had survived the creatures, the energy tests, and the challenges of the forest. He was beginning to understand what it meant to be human in a universe that demanded courage, intelligence, and heart. As he left the chamber with the alien by his side, Alex knew that the journey ahead would test him even further. The forest of Zithera seemed quieter that morning, but Alex Mercer knew better than to trust appearances. Every leaf shimmered with hidden energy, every shadow could conceal a predator, and every step forward was a test. The alien who had guided him remained at his side, her golden eyes scanning constantly, alert to dangers he could not yet sense. Today, Alex felt a tension in the air that was different, heavier. Something was coming, something more dangerous than before. They moved through dense undergrowth, carefully stepping over roots and glowing stones. The alien's presence was reassuring, but Alex noticed she seemed more tense, more focused. He realized that she too could sense that a new challenge awaited. The forest was alive in ways that went beyond energy pulses or vibrations. It was watching, calculating, and responding. They reached a clearing where the crystalline monoliths rose like silent sentinels. The air here pulsed with energy, and Alex could feel a subtle vibration in his chest. The alien stopped, placing a hand on his shoulder. He glanced at her, sensing that she was about to prepare him for the ultimate test. Without warning, the ground shook. Alex stumbled slightly, catching himself, and looked around to see a massive shadow moving toward them. Emerging from the edge of the clearing was a creature unlike any he had seen before. Its body was enormous, sleek, and armored with translucent plates that reflected light like a prism. Its limbs moved with terrifying speed, and its glowing eyes fixed on them with predatory focus. The alien stepped in front of Alex, her hands glowing brightly. Stay calm, she thought into his mind. Observe. Act only when necessary. Alex's pulse quickened, but he forced himself to remain still, noting the creature's movements. Its energy signature was erratic, powerful, and dangerous, but there were patterns, fluctuations in its glow that revealed its intentions. He remembered everything he had learned: patience, observation, and trust in the alien's guidance. The creature roared, a sound that vibrated through the ground, and charged. Alex ducked instinctively, rolling to the side as the alien extended her hands, creating a barrier of shimmering energy. The creature slammed into it, shaking the field but unable to break through. Alex realized that brute force alone would not defeat this being. It required strategy, intelligence, and precise action. The alien gestured for him to move, guiding him around the creature. Alex noticed a series of glowing roots beneath its feet, pulsing with energy. They were connected to the forest, feeding power into the creature. The alien was showing him the key to victory, but it was subtle, requiring focus and courage to act. Alex made a decision. He sprinted toward a nearby monolith, leaping onto its surface, and extended his hands to touch the glowing roots. Energy pulsed through him, and he felt a surge of awareness, connecting him to the creature in the forest. He could anticipate the creature's moves, sensing when it would strike and how it reacted to energy changes. The alien watched him closely, her eyes approving but alert. Good, she thought into his mind. Now control it. Do not fight blindly. Guide it. Alex focused, sending energy pulses through the roots, carefully directing the creature's attention away from them. The creature hesitated, confused by the manipulation of its energy source. He realized that the alien had been teaching him not just to survive, but to use intelligence, observation, and human ingenuity to influence the world around him. Step by step, Alex guided the creature toward a narrow passage between the monoliths. The alien moved alongside him, ready to intervene if necessary, but allowing him to take the lead. His heart pounded, his mind sharp, and for the first time, he felt a deep connection with the planet, the forest, and the alien who had chosen to guide him. The creature lunged suddenly, faster than he expected. Alex leaped to the side, redirecting energy pulses through the roots. The creature stumbled, confused, and he seized the moment to guide it further into the passage. He realized that fear would have been dangerous here. Clarity and focus were his true weapons. The alien's hands glowed brighter, amplifying his energy control, and together, they led the creature into a chamber where the forest's energy was concentrated. The creature hesitated, sensing the overwhelming power, and Alex knew this was the critical moment. He focused all his awareness, using the lessons he had learned from observing, trusting and adapting. Slowly, carefully, he redirected the creature's energy toward the chamber walls, causing it to stabilize and calm. The creature's aggressive movement slowed, its glow softening until it finally sank to the ground, subdued but unharmed. Alex exhaled, feeling the immense weight of the challenge lift. The alien approached him, her expression calm but proud. "You have done well," she said softly. This was the ultimate test of skill, courage, and intelligence. Humans rarely succeed. You have proven yourself. Alex's chest heaved, not from exhaustion alone, but from the realization that he had survived through intelligence, patience, and trust, rather than sheer strength. He looked at the alien beside him, feeling deep respect and gratitude. She had guided him, taught him, and trusted him, allowing him to succeed on his own, while providing subtle support. The forest seemed to settle around them, the energy pulsing gently as if acknowledging his victory. Alex realized that Zithera was not just a planet. It was a teacher, a test, and a reflection of potential. He had survived the creatures, mastered the energy flows, and proven that humanity could rise to meet challenges beyond imagination. The alien led him to a small pool of crystalline water at the chamber's center. She gestured for him to look into it. Alex saw reflections not just of himself but of the forest, the creatures, and the energy flowing through everything. It was a mirror of his journey, showing him how far he had come, the lessons he had learned, and the connection he had formed with the planet. "This is what you must remember," she said softly. "Strength alone is not enough. Intelligence, courage, observation, and trust, these are what allow humans to survive and thrive in the universe. You have shown all of them." Alex nodded, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. He realized that the aliens' guidance had been more than survival training. It had been a lesson in human potential, the ability to adapt and the courage to face the unknown. As they moved out of the chamber, the forest seemed to open before them, paths appearing where none had existed, creatures retreating into the shadows and energy pulsing in harmony with their movements. Alex understood that he had passed not only a physical test but a mental and spiritual one as well. The alien glanced at him, her golden eyes softening. "You are ready for the next stage," she said. "Beyond this forest lies a place where humans and my kind must work together to face challenges that threaten the universe itself. You have survived the forest, the creatures, and the energy tests. Now you must learn to act as part of something greater." Alex felt a surge of excitement and determination. He had begun as an explorer, cautious and uncertain, but he had grown into a participant in a system far larger than himself. He had proven that humans could match even the most advanced forces of nature through intelligence, courage, and trust. As they emerged from the dense forest into a wide open valley, Alex saw strange structures rising in the distance. They appeared both natural and artificial, towering above the terrain, pulsating with energy. The alien walked confidently toward them, and Alex followed, knowing that the next stage of his journey awaited. He felt a profound connection with her and the planet, understanding that survival was not just about skill, but about bonding, learning, and adapting. The challenges ahead would be greater, but he was ready. He had proven the strength of humanity, and he was prepared to face the unknown with courage and clarity. The alien turned to him briefly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Remember everything you have learned," she said. "The universe is vast, full of dangers and wonders. Trust yourself, trust your allies, and act with wisdom. That is what makes humans exceptional." Alex nodded, feeling a sense of purpose he had never known. He was no longer just a traveler or explorer. He was a student, a participant, and a survivor. The forest of Zithra had taught him patience, observation, courage, and trust. He had faced creatures and energy beyond human comprehension and emerged stronger. The valley stretched out before him, the structures shimmering with energy, signaling the next stage of the challenge. Alex felt anticipation, excitement, and determination. He was ready to continue, to learn more, and to prove that humans could stand alongside the greatest forces of the universe. With the alien guiding him, he stepped forward, leaving the forest behind, stepping into the next chapter of his journey, a journey that would test everything he had learned and reveal the true potential of humanity in a universe full of mysteries, dangers, and wonders. The valley stretched endlessly before Alex Mercer, filled with glowing structures that pulsed like the heartbeat of some colossal organism. The alien beside him moved with confidence, her golden eyes scanning the horizon as though she already understood what lay ahead. Alex could feel his own pulse quicken, not from fear alone but from anticipation. This was the final stage of his journey, the ultimate test of everything he had learned on Zithra. As they approached the structures, Alex noticed the intricate patterns etched into their surfaces. Energy flowed along the lines, creating shifting symbols that seemed almost alive. The alien gestured for him to stop. "These structures are the culmination of the forest's challenge," she said softly. "Here, humans must prove not only skill and courage, but wisdom and cooperation. The universe does not favor those who act alone." Alex nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He realized that his journey had been more than survival. It had been training, observation, and understanding. Every creature he had faced, every test of energy, and every pulse of the forest had been preparation for this moment. Suddenly the ground trembled. A low hum grew into a roar echoing across the valley. From the structures emerged beings of immense size, their forms glowing with energy. They moved with a purposeful coordination that immediately set Alex on edge. These were not wild creatures, they were guardians, protectors of the structures, testing all who dared approach. The alien stepped forward, placing herself slightly in front of Alex. "Stay calm," she said, her voice steady. "Observe. They will attack only if provoked. Understand their rhythm, their energy, and you will find your path." Alex studied the guardians. Unlike the creatures in the forest, These beings were intelligent, almost mechanical in precision, yet alive with energy that radiated intelligence. He noticed patterns in their movements, shifts in the glow of their forms that indicated intent. His training with the alien had sharpened his senses, allowing him to read these subtle cues. A sudden surge of light signaled the beginning of the test. One of the guardians moved forward, its energy blazing. Alex felt instinctively that a direct confrontation would be dangerous. He remembered the lessons of patience and observation. Instead of attacking, he focused on the energy around the guardian, attempting to synchronize with it. Slowly, he extended his hands, sending a pulse of calm energy toward the being. The guardian paused. Its glow flickered, then softened. Alex realized he had connected with it, not through strength, but through understanding. The alien nodded approvingly. Good, she thought into his mind. You are learning the greatest lesson of all. Power is not always in force. It is in connection, observation, and wisdom. Emboldened, Alex reached toward another guardian, using subtle pulses of energy to guide its movement. One by one, he synchronized with them, his confidence growing with each success. He felt a surge of exhilaration and understanding. The universe was vast and powerful, but humans had the capacity to adapt, learn, and influence it through intelligence and courage. But the challenge was far from over. From the far end of the valley, a massive guardian emerged, larger and more radiant than the others. Its presence alone made the ground tremble. Alex felt the familiar rush of fear, but he steadied himself, recalling every lesson from the forest, the creatures, and the crystalline monoliths. He could face this because he had learned to remain calm, observe patterns, and trust in guidance and his own judgment. The alien moved beside him, her glow intensifying. This is the final test, she said. You will not fail if you act with clarity, courage, and wisdom. Remember what you have learned. Alex took a deep breath. He focused on the massive guardian's energy, sensing its rhythm and intent. Unlike the others, it did not respond to simple pulses. It required more than observation. It required strategic thinking and precision. Alex noticed a weak point in the guardian's energy flow, a subtle fluctuation that occurred with each pulse. He realized this was his opportunity. He extended his hands carefully, sending a controlled burst of energy toward the weak point. The guardian staggered, its glow flickering, and Alex felt the forest's energy flowing through him, guiding his actions. The alien beside him amplified his pulse, ensuring his effort was precise and safe. The guardian surged again, stronger and more aggressive. Alex adjusted, timing his movements with the energy rhythm he had learned to sense. Step by step, pulse by pulse, he guided the being, redirecting its force and stabilizing its energy flow. The alien's presence was steady and supportive, but Alex realized that the action was his own, his mind, his courage, and his observation making the difference. Finally, after a tense series of pulses, the guardian paused and lowered its energy. It no longer radiated aggression. Instead, it seemed to acknowledge him, glowing softly as if granting permission to proceed. Alex exhaled, relief and exhilaration flooding through him. He had faced the ultimate challenge, not by force alone, but by understanding, courage, and human ingenuity. The alien smiled faintly, her golden eyes warm. You have proven yourself, she said. Humans are rare, but you have demonstrated what they are capable of. Courage, intelligence, and respect for the universe, these are your strengths. Alex looked around the valley. The other guardians now bowed slightly, their energy pulsing in harmony with the forest. He realized that he had earned more than survival. He had gained respect from beings far beyond human understanding, a validation of humanity's potential in the vast cosmos. The alien led him to the largest structure in the valley. Its surface shimmered with a spectrum of colors, and a doorway appeared as they approached. Inside lies the knowledge of the forest, the culmination of the lessons you have learned. It is not just survival you have proven. It is your ability to adapt, learn, and contribute to a universe full of challenges. Alex stepped inside, feeling a rush of energy wash over him. The chamber was filled with a soft, radiant light, and images of distant worlds, creatures, and civilizations appeared in the air, as if projected from the very energy of the planet. He saw humans, aliens, and other beings working together, facing challenges with courage, intelligence, and unity. The alien placed a hand on his shoulder. This is the true lesson, she said. Power alone is meaningless without wisdom, courage, and cooperation. Humans, though young in the universe, have the potential to rise to greatness. You have proven that one individual, guided by learning and observation, can make a difference. Alex felt a profound sense of purpose. He had started as an explorer, cautious and uncertain, but he had grown into a participant in something far greater, a universe that challenged every being to prove their worth. He realized that survival was only the beginning. What mattered was how humans used their intelligence, courage, and creativity to face the unknown. The alien led him back to the valley entrance. The guardians now moved aside, allowing passage. Alex looked back once, seeing the shimmering structures and glowing energy that had tested him, taught him, and ultimately accepted him. He felt a deep respect for the alien who had guided him, for the forest that had challenged him, and for the potential of humanity he had discovered within himself. As they stepped into the open world beyond, Alex turned to the alien. "Thank you," he said, "for everything. I would not have survived without your guidance." She shook her head slightly, a rare smile touching her features. "It was not only my guidance," she said. "It was your courage, your intelligence, and your willingness to learn. Humans are capable of greatness, Alex Mercer. Never forget that." Alex nodded, feeling a newfound confidence. The universe was vast, dangerous, and full of unknowns, but he had proven that humans could rise to the challenge. Through observation, courage, intelligence, and trust, he had survived, adapted, and thrived. He had faced creatures, mastered energy, and navigated tests that would have defeated many others. And he had done it as a human, proving that humanity could stand among the greatest forces in the universe. The alien led him to a portal shimmering at the edge of the valley. Beyond it lay other worlds, other challenges, and other opportunities to test what he had learned. Alex felt excitement, determination, and purpose surge through him. He knew that his journey was far from over, but he was ready for whatever lay ahead. As he stepped toward the portal, the alien placed a hand on his shoulder one final time. "Remember everything," she said softly. "Trust yourself, your instincts, and your mind. That is what makes humans exceptional." Alex nodded, stepping through the portal. Light enveloped him, energy flowing around him, and for the first time he truly felt the strength and potential of humanity. He had survived the forest, the creatures, and the ultimate challenges of Scifi. He had learned, adapted, and proven that humans could thrive in ways that no one had anticipated. When the light faded, he found himself standing on a new world filled with possibilities and challenges. He looked back once, knowing that the alien in the forest would always remain part of his journey. They had taught him patience, courage, observation, and intelligence. They had shown him that humanity's true power was not just physical strength, but the ability to learn, adapt, and rise to meet the unknown. Alex took a deep breath and stepped forward into the unknown. The universe awaited, vast and full of wonder, and he was ready. He was a human, capable,